welcome back to another episode of Fox Sports Lab NRL. I'm Eloise, Sawyer, joined alongside me Josh Morris for round 8 of the footy. I can't believe we're already 8 rounds in.
Yeah, it won't be long until Origin, Eloise, but we had some great games of footy over the weekend, some big wins, some big losses, some big ins this week and some big outs. So always a great week in rugby league.
Absolutely, and it all kicks off, of course, with this Anzac Day clash. We love this one at Allianz Stadium. The Dragons are taking on the Roosters. Now, the Roosters have won all 4 of 6 of these Anzac Day clashes. The Dragons, $2.45, Roosters, $1.55. So they are the short favourites here.
Yeah, and I find that price quite surprising, to be honest. I mean, the Roosters haven't been setting the world on fire as of late. I can only think that's down to the inclusion of Sam Walker and Dom Young back into their side. I feel like they are at their strongest when Walker and Keary are in the halves. But the Dragons, I mean, they came off a massive win against the Warriors. Their tails are up at the moment, and it came off the back of Zach Lomax. He's been outstanding. He scored 5 tries in his last 5 games, and Terrell Sloan, he scored 13 tries in his past 16. So they need those young guns firing if they're a chance. Look, I'm giving the Roosters one more chance. I've said it so many times last year, and it seemed to get them over the line. So it's very early in the season, but I'm giving them one more chance before I go off them.
All right, you're backing the Roosters one more time. Let's see if they can get up for you. The next game, of course, is the Storm hosting the Rabbitohs. Storm, $1.24. They are short favourites here by a country mile. Rabbitohs, $4. Rabbitohs have lost all 18 games that they've played down there in Melbourne, and obviously they're coming off the bye. Do we think that's going to help them in any way coming up against a strong Storm outfit?
Oh, look, I don't think so. I mean, the inclusions of Damien Cook and Jai Arrow are big. They need that experience to go down to Amy Park. The Storm, they really do the Anzac games well. They've won their past 7 as well. Jack Whiten seems to be the only one with a good record down there. He's won 5 of his last 6, so maybe he can rub off on some of those South players. But I think the Storm in this one, they'll be way too good. I think they're going to be 13 plus in this one, and I think Xavier Coates is in for a big game. I think he might bag a double.
Oh, here we go. That's a good one to get behind, Xavier Coates. Now, next up, we're heading over to the Northern Beaches. You're going to be their sideline. Seagulls, $1.33. Eels, $3.30. I mean, they're coming off a big upset up there in Darwin to the Dolphins. Always a big battle down there, but I like the battle of the fullbacks, Clint Gutherson and Tom Trbojevic in this one.
Yeah, and they could potentially decide the match. Tommy Turbo's been in great form, and last week it looked like Clint was the only one really trying in that Eels side. They were in that second half. They were like woeful, and it was like they gave up. Some of the things that I saw on the weekend were very troubling. Brad Arthur's wielded the axe. He's brought in Ethan Sanders for his debut. It's a tough place to go and win in Brookie, the fortress there, and they have made it a fortress of late. Makasibo comes back into the the Eels side. They do have a good record there, though. They like going over to the Northern Beaches and playing, but I don't think they can beat this Manly side at the moment. I expect a better showing from the Eels, but yeah, I think Manly will be too good, and I think Tommy, I think he'll be one of the players to watch in this one.
Yes, certainly too strong at home. Up next, the Cowboys at $3.50 hosting the Premiers. Panthers, they're $1.30. Obviously, the Cowboys are coming off a loss. Panthers beat the West Tigers out there in Bathurst. Is it just too hard to look past the Premiers in this one?
Yeah, I think so. And I think with Nathan Cleary, the big in, they've been getting the job done without him. And I think we saw whenever Cleary comes back, it's almost like he hasn't been missing at all. He just, the sync that they have with each other over the last 3 or 4 years, he just slides back in and makes that side a whole lot better. Griffin Neame is starting this week. Tamalolo has been benched. And a similar thing in the Sharkies-Cowboys game last week. There are a couple of worrying signs there. You saw Ronaldo Mulatalo score a try where he ran basically from the corner post to right under the black dot, and no one was there to stop him. And Todd Payton, he's resisted wielding the axe. He wants to see a response from his players. So I think we'll see a better Cowboys side. But the Panthers, they've won 5 of their past 7 versus the Cowboys. So, and the Cowboys, they need to be better defensively. They've conceded 129 points in 4 games. So not the team you really want to be facing up if you want to be defensively good against the Panthers. I think they'll be too strong in this one.
Yeah, definitely not. Just lastly, we're going to touch on the Raiders and the Sharks. Raiders $3.15. They're back at home. They've got a really strong record at GIO Stadium so far this year. They've recorded some big wins. The Sharks $1.36. Obviously, they're flying at the moment. They've got a lot of confidence in that group. Can they get the job done heading to the nation's capital?
Oh, look, I think they'll be the Raiders will be confident in this one. They've won 5 of their last 6 at home, and they've won their last 4 against the Sharks.
Yeah.
The only concern is Jamal Fogarty. He's out with that biceps injury. He's been a massive reason why they've been going so well. Once he went off on the weekend against the Broncos, their kicking game that was completely different. They lacked that, and then the Broncos were able to capitalise on that. For the Sharkies, they obviously have a change in the halves as well, with young Braden Trindle out through disciplinary incident. But Daniel Atkinson comes in, and in the trials last year, I think you can remember, he was quite a live wire. So I'm looking forward to seeing him go back into the side. Sione Katoa comes back in as well. KO Weeks is in the halves. Look, that's a very young halves pairing there against an experienced in Nico Hines. I think they'll get over the line here, the Sharkies, and I think your best bet to watch is Ronaldo Mulatalo on the try count. Can he get 2, or can he get his first hat-trick this week?
Let's hope so for the Sharks' sake. We'll just run our eyes over the rest of the games in round 8. Warriors, Titans, quick tip.
Yeah, Warriors too good in this one. They'll bounce back from that loss.
West Tigers taking on the Broncos.
Feel sorry for the Tigers in this one. They get Reynolds and Payne Haas back, and Brendan Piakura. West Tigers 0 from 9 at Campbelltown. I think the Broncos will win and win big. I'm tipping 20+ for that one.
Wow, that is huge. And just lastly, the Dolphins taking on the Knights.
Yeah, in this one, I guess the loss of Kalen Ponga will be massive for the Dolphins. I'm looking forward to seeing how they replace him, but I was really excited by the Dolphins win on the weekend, and I'm tipping them.
All right, there you go. Round 8 is upon us. Can't wait. Anzac Day all starts. 3 games on Anzac Day. Cannot wait. We'll touch base with you next week for round 9, Josh.
Thanks, Eloise.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.